Welcome back, everybody, to Two Guys and a Stack of Comics. My name is Reed. Along with me is Mike. Mike is headed out for Comic-Con this week, so Mike, good luck with that. But
I'm
we've had,
excited.
I'm sure you are. It's going to be great to talk with you while you're there at San Diego Comic-Con. Um, Sort of a big story that dropped this week. We're going to talk about it. And it's an interesting thing in that you and I have done stuff on the channel talking about how comics may need to go to an adaptable format as far as some of the things that might be hurting audiences. Kind of like how manga has these very clear stop and start points for folks. A rumor has come up, and it's been rather persistent, that the Ultimate Universe might be ending after just 24 issues. Now, some have said this is no, some have said yes. Marvel released a solicitation saying that they're entering the end game for the Ultimate Universe, which to me would indicate that that probably means it's sort of ending. But I don't know for sure. Well, again, this could all be supposition. So we thought we would just talk. Is this, if they do in fact end, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, all of these comics after just 24 issues. Is this a smart decision, a stupid decision? How do we feel on it? Mike, I'll kick it to you to start. I know you had not been reading mainstream comics much, and Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Black Panther got you in reading two characters that you love that you hadn't read for a while. You hearing that this might end in 24 issues, how does that hit you?
I think it could be a mistake, especially for the successes. I mean, one thing you got to be able to, I think you got to be flexible to understand the ones that didn't work out yet, you need to bring those to an end, but why not let Spider-Man and Black Panther go forward? And Wolverine was doing pretty good too for a while. So why not let him go forward? And then you run into the thing like, well, if they end Ultimate Universe, there'll be Ultimate Universe 2 will be, announced next year, something like that'll happen. But the tragedy of it is, the good things that they had started and picked up fans, will I be more reluctant to, try and rebooted Ultimate 2 or whatever they're going to call it,
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man, when I was so happy with the original? I don't know.
I think it's a stupid decision if they do end it. So I'm going to go in the assumption they're ending at 24 issues. If they actually do that, I think it's one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen a publishing company make. In all honesty, Ultimate Spider-Man outsells Amazing Spider-Man, and not close. Like it's lapping it. It's a blowout. You have probably the most successful comic book going in Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Black Panther is doing so incredibly well compared to its mainstream counterpart that can't even keep a title. Ultimate X-Men, I haven't loved that book. I believe it's still outselling the number one X-Men title from that. Ultimate Wolverine is regularly outselling Wolverine. I think even the Ultimates, I don't know that it outsells Avengers, but it's selling well. I think the thing is, I understand people who will say, hey, look, you need to do a little bit more condensed storytelling because having an 800 issue series that continues forever is really hard to get people started. I agree with that. But 24 issues is way too quick a hook. And that one of the things that I think is so weird is if it had always been designed as 24 issues, and there's some people saying it was, I feel like the stories would be further along. The issue that I have with things going 24 issues,
Right.
if I'm only getting 24 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, that I had two or three issues that Peter Parker wasn't in it, where I was seeing events from previous issues reframed in a different way, where there was an issue completely focusing on Uncle Ben and Jonah Jameson, those completely become wasted, in my opinion. And that my investment in those was this will probably pay off down the line. If there's five issues left, there's no payoff you can give me. And that, like, we just now kind of got the first couple of issues of Peter actually being a hero. And so, if this does end, I think Black Panther's another one where I really have enjoyed where that's gone recently. You've got all this intrigue and different things that have happened. It's like there's no way in hell you're going to wrap that up in six issues in any satisfactory way. And if the whole thing they're doing is, well, hey, the universe ended, you don't get closure on things, that's just really stupid. I just, it's so dumb that I could actually see Marvel Comics doing it. That's the only reason I actually think there might be some validity, is that no sane-minded person would do it, which means it's probably what Marvel editorial is thinking is the right idea,
It's the old you shoot yourself in the foot. If you got a good thing going, you keep those titles going that are selling well. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you
It's
don't have
crazy
to
over
keep
there.
Ultimate Spider-Man going for 225 issues, but 24, that's no, I think there's a, and this is a massive overcorrection. I think if they close it in 24, where it's a huge math mistake, there's a difference between something lasting too long, and we've all had comics that do that, or having something that's just too short where it doesn't matter. 24 issues, I'm sorry, that's kind of like some of these 6 issue minis that come out for a comic that's built as an ongoing. And I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest reason this sucks is I could see a 24 issue story working. You and I just spent a ton of time talking about Watchmen and how in 12 issues it does, but that always felt like a story that had definitive bookends, start,
Yeah.
middle, finish. These have felt like standard comic books. There's been nothing about Spider Man that, as a title 18 issues in, you're like, oh, it's all leading to this. No,
Yeah.
it's a routine comic, and we loved it for that. To wrap it up in 24 issues, man, it's an overcorrection to end things that fast. The one thing that I'm worried is going to happen here, Mike, and this is where I do think
Yeah. Right.
I could see them ending the title. I think there's possibility they go, you know what? Let's just bring this Peter to the main universe. And then we'd have two. I think that is where I think this ultimately may head, is they may go, you know what? And again, it will be now we'll have, I mean, we got 50 million Spider-Mans running around anyway. I guess we might as well have two Peter Parkers. Um, do you think they're actually going to pull the trigger on this? Do you think it will get, do you think it's been too successful that they'll go, hey, you know what? Original plan was that, forget it, we're going forward? Or do you think this will actually, they'll stick to it? And
I think if they want to kill it, they're going to kill it. They do crazy things over there. And this is where you need the leader of an executive editor to go in and say, no, these books are selling well. I want you to keep going, Hickman, on Spider-Man and keep going. And that was what the old school mentality was, because if the books didn't sell, you lost your job.
yeah,
But nowadays, if you're being propped up by, a big corporation who just wants to use you as a
I beef.
movie TV idea farm, who knows? Who knows? I'm on the fence of like about 50-50. I do feel like the smart thing to do would be to move forward with the books that are selling well and just keep those going for another 12, 24 issues and see what
24 issues.
happens.
Well, and the thing is, I think you're not going to create a comic book that I think you could have a decade long run before it gets too much for people, as long as you have storytellers who are consistent. I think one of the things that ticks people off, and this is where, because I've seen people, and me and you have talked about it, going to a manga style format might be smart, where things last a decade. I don't necessarily know that you have to do that. But what you have to do is you could keep Ultimate Spider-Man running for 200 issues. But what you have to do is you can't have a lame reboot. You can't kill off a character every 6 issues and then go, actually, Crisis on Infinite Spider-Mans. We're
Yeah,
resetting that. You can't have Vulture 3 show up. You can't have 20 different people be the Green Goblin and have Peter's kid die, but no, it wasn't his kid. Oh, it was a fake kid. No, it was a clone. If they get better storytelling, where they go, you know what? And we've seen this. I don't really like the comic and I don't really like the cartoon, but my kid loves it. The story, Invincible. Invincible, I think, ran 144 issues. I think that's 12 years of comics for that. It's not exactly brisk reading that's contained in one or two volumes, but what
no,
Invincible did a good job and why my kid enjoyed it and why I've read it and I didn't really love it, but I read it all the way through. Events mattered. When something happened in an issue, it happened. It wasn't reset, retconned, reduced to something stupid. You didn't have all these different things that
that's
happened.
Kirkman. That's a
And I
good.
and that's the thing is I think this is the most clear win that Marvel has had probably in 20 years is Ultimate Spider-Man. It's the one I think if you had to go to comic book fans and go, what's the one title most everybody's happy with? It's probably Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If they're dumb enough to end that after 24 issues, there really is no helping them because fans are telling you they don't want it to end. The story itself is not in the place that it would end. This is not some grand epic where it's like, oh, we're in the final steps now. But and I
Mhm.
think they're using the analogy Endgame like the MCU. The thing is, there is no clear end game for that. And I know in some books, the Maker coming back in 2 years has been set up. And yes, if you read the Ultimates, that has been the plot. But for
Right.
Ultimate Spider Man, the Maker coming back in 2 years, I don't believe has ever come up on panel in an episode in an issue of Ultimate Spider Man. I know it hasn't come up in Ultimate Black Panther. It hasn't really been touched in Ultimate Wolverine. And so it's not like the MCU where it's like every movie you knew, it's Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos, the gems, the gauntlet, the stones, it's all there. This doesn't have that feel. It has it in one title only. And so it's so dumb I could see them doing it though. That's the one thing I'll say is in
Me
any
too.
logical way, you would look and go, this is no, you don't do this. I could the only thing
It
I'll say
could happen.
where it could be a blessing in disguise. Then Jonathan Hickman's the perfect example of this, unfortunately. I hate the Krakoa era of X-Men. I didn't hate it when Jonathan Hickman was in charge. Jonathan Hickman's the original House of X, Powers of 10 that reset that. His first 20 something issues of X Men, I think he did an event called Inferno. All of that was really good. And then Marvel kicked Jonathan Hickman out and was like, he was ready to move the story forward. And they're like, we're not ready to move on yet. And they let a lot of inferior talent and people who don't have the storytelling thing to go forward. And they're largely what ruined it. I think the only blessing in disguise if they ended is if Hickman's like, hey guys, I got 24 issues of Spider Man in me and I don't have any more. It might be a better alternative if they're like, you know what, we could get one of the people who ruined X Men to write it afterwards. Then you know what, I might be okay. With them. That's the only blessing in disguise I could see is if they were like, you know what, instead of throwing Z tier writer number 4, we're just gonna end it. That's the only possible silver lining. But I don't know. Crazy. At least for you and me as DC fans, it seems like the absolute universe is leaning the opposite way, where they seem
That's for
to have.
sure.
I think they say they have at least 3 years of stories already scripted for most of the characters, and that's just what
It's
they have scripted,
it's
not
going
net
well
play.
for them. Yeah, and they're not going to shoot themselves on the foot in the foot if it's going well. So yeah, at least somebody's making good decisions, over
No,
at DC.
hopefully, hopefully this is wrong. Hopefully we'll get an announcement. Maybe it'll come at Comic Con this week. Where they'll go, you know what? Nope, not ending. We've got more planned. I hope that's what we get.
I'll see if I can get any inside info on that. I'll try.
Yeah, we could. We can claim our channel has boots on the ground.
Hickman's gonna
As
be there. Hickman's gonna be there. I'll get him on
well,
camera.
we'll
Hey, can
see.
you
Yeah,
just
I'm sure.
yeah,
We have our
tell us?
boots on the ground reporting.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. We'll definitely see what happens. But let us know your thoughts down below, folks. What do you think about Ultimate Universe? Do you think it ending already is a massive mistake, if indeed they pulled the trigger on that? Or do you have a different perspective than us where you think this might actually be smart and work? Let us know your thoughts down below, folks, as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you, folks. We'll catch you in our next video.
Thanks, everybody.